Alright, so we are talking about my top favorite face products for the year of 2016. I have discovered some great things. I have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump into this video. So let's start with sort of primer. I only have one to show you, and it's the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. This is the one with the coconut water, and I recently discovered this a few months back. I got a sample little tube from Sephora using 100 points, like the 100 point perks that they do. And that's a great way to try a lot of products. And I really fell in love with it, and I went and bought myself the travel size because I don't use primer every single day. I went through a phase like the whole month of September. I think all of October I used a primer every single day, and I think even into August. I think that's when I discovered this. But I like it. It's a really nice hydrating primer. It's got that coconut water to sort of revive the skin, hydrate the skin. It's silicone free, so if you have sensitive skin, maybe you don't like products with silicone, or just silicone based products are not that great for you and your skin, this one doesn't have any. And it says a probiotic based ingredient, and it has coconut water in it, so it's very hydrating for the skin. I like that it has like a little pump on the end of the tube, so it's quite different. So I think that having that little pump at the end of the squeeze tube really helps get everything out of it. So hopefully, because I don't think that you can take this off. I mean, I've tried, but you can't remove it. But it's a good one if you're looking for a primer that isn't silicone based and doesn't have that sort of slip to it. If you are familiar with the Smashbox original foundation primer that's clear, it's kind of like, it comes out and it looks like a gel, but when you blend it in, it has that sort of greasy slip to it. This is not like that. It comes out in a white, kind of a lotiony moisturizer type consistency, and it smells very good. You do get that subtle hint of coconut water, but it's not overpowering coconut scent, although if it were, I would love that because I love coconut. But it's a very good primer. If you're looking for one, that's one I would recommend. For foundations, I have a few. Where do I begin? Let's just talk about the Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick. I really like this. I stopped using it over the course of the last month and a half, 2 months or so, because my skin has been, as we've gotten closer to winter and into the winter months, and it's been really cold here in Tennessee, my skin has been really dry. It's been peeling a lot. I've had a lot of issues with dryness, even dryness under the eyes, but this is actually really great for those who have combination skin, oily skin. It's a nice coverage. It's light to medium. It's not full coverage. So if you're looking for full coverage, this is not it, but if you like the finish and the way it kind of glides onto the skin, I use a beauty sponge, either the Real Techniques ones or my actual beauty blender, and it works great with this. Of course, you have to dampen those, but this is a really good foundation. I will come back to this when my skin is not so dry and kind of peeling. I have a little bit of peeling on my nose right now, but when that's over, I think this is going to be a really good like summertime foundation for me. The next one that I have is the Almay Truly Lasting Color. This is the TLC. It is absolutely disgusting. It's so shameful that I do not clean my makeup products. Yeah. Let's talk about this. I should probably throw it away because it looks pretty disgusting. I have it in the shade Neutral. This is a foundation that I discovered several months back, and it actually is really good. It's from the drugstore. It's oil-free. It's hypoallergenic. And it doesn't really cling to dryness. That's the biggest thing that I found with this. Even though I had issues with peeling around my chin, which that's like the biggest dry area on my face, I noticed that this didn't really cling to those areas, and it went on smoothly. It went on evenly, even over like texture problems that I've had over the course of the last couple months as well. I haven't had any issues with this, and I don't think that this has made me break out, even though I do have some breakouts now. I have 2 of them. I mean, there's not much I can do. My skin is acne prone, and I do think that this really works. I don't wear it for the 16 hours just because I personally don't like to wear makeup that long. I don't think that that's healthy for your skin. Has a nice pump to it. Never have any issues with the pump clogging or anything like that. It's a really good, solid recommendation from the drugstore. Although the range of color is not that great, but you know, drugstore foundations are known for not having an extensive range to accommodate a lot of skin tones, which is what irritates me from the drugstore. But if you can find a color, it's a good one to try. The next one, this is my baby. I'm gonna shake it up. It has like a little something in there that you have to kind of shake it, and it helps kind of blend everything together. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Liquid Foundation. It's peptide infused, light diffusing, and paraben free. I have it in the shade 3.25, which I think is just a tad light for me, but I do make it work by adding a little extra bronzer. This is what I'm wearing today. I use this with my beauty blender. This is just this is so good to me. Like, with my dry skin issues lately, I have been so impressed with this, and I've had this for a very long time in my collection. I think I got it earlier in this year, and it kind of got shoved in the back of the drawer because I was using the Anastasia one. I was using the Maybelline Fit Me for a while as well, which is a good one too for oily skin. And then I started, like I said, readjusting how I went about my skincare routine, using products that are made for, you know, drier skin, dry skin types, and I've noticed a big difference in my skin as far as oil production, and this has just been really great. I mean, I use about a pump, sometimes 2 pumps. It gives me a really nice natural coverage. It has a natural finish. There's nothing matte about this. You can mattify it with a setting powder, translucent powder. You can put a face powder over it if you want it to be matte. It gives a nice coverage. I think the most that you could get is probably like a medium. It's not a full coverage by any means. And for me, I like light to medium coverage, and then I like to go in and pinpoint conceal where I need it. They do have a new one called the All Nighter that is a full coverage. I have not tried that yet. It might be good, it might not, but I do love the Naked Skin I was going to say concealer, but I do like that concealer that goes with this foundation, but this foundation is everything. Speaking of concealer, the Maybelline Better Skin Concealer, I absolutely have nothing left. The writing is starting to rub off on this. You will be seeing this in an upcoming future empties video, which I have been collecting. There is absolutely nothing, and I have to like do one of these numbers, try to scrape this doe foot around. As you guys can probably, maybe the camera might pick it up, how there's like nothing in this. It's a really nice coverage. It's a really nice concealer. It glides, it blends, it doesn't cling to any dryness. It's very similar to the Naked Skin Concealer from Urban Decay at a much lower cost. So I would say this is probably the closest dupe that I found to that Naked Skin Concealer. I wear it in the shade Light, love it. Use it under the eyes, on the eyelids as a primer. Oops. For eyeshadow, it's great. I do need to repurchase that at some point, but I did recently discover a new one because I had a lot of issues with dryness where I actually had dry patches under the eye, and I've never really experienced dryness to that extent. I thought, what in the hell? Like, I don't know what's going on. I use anti-aging eye creams. I never skip my eye cream morning and night. It's something I always do. So when I started noticing that a lot of concealers, primarily, I'm going to show, even though this is favorites video, this Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer, I used this for a couple weeks. This made my under eye area look 20 years older. Like, I don't know what it is with that formula. It's not good. So I went looking for one. I found Smashbox Studio Skin, the 24-hour oil-free concealer. This is absolutely incredible. It is so good. I have it in the shade Light. It says 24 hours. Again, I don't go by the claim of hours wear time because I don't wear it for that long. It's got a really nice, oh, it's got a little fuzz. Really nice applicator, a classic doe foot. It goes on so incredibly wonderful and creamy and smooth. But the biggest thing is that it doesn't really crease and it doesn't cling to any dry patches. That is huge for me, you guys. Huge. Because the under eye area is such thin skin anyways, and if you have dryness there and you put a concealer that just really accentuates that, and that's going to happen on the face as well. If you have a dry patch, you put a product over it, it's going to, like, those dry patches is like suction cups. It just grabs onto everything. I don't know what this is, but, you know, this is just really good. I love it. It's a great concealer, and it doesn't take much to give me some coverage. I do like using this over my Pixie Correction Concentrate, which is a brightening type product. This is available from Target. It's got a really nice peach color. I apply a little bit of this under the eye area just to kind of help brighten everything up because I do have some dark circles, honestly, that are hereditary. I've had them since I was a child, and they've gotten better over time because I have realized certain things that kind of trigger dark circles, like lack of sleep. If I eat a lot of sugary things, I notice that my under eye area looks like somebody punched me. When I was a kid, I had really, really dark circles. It was bad. It was bad. And thank goodness for brightening correction products because you could put a little bit of this on and then go in with a flesh tone concealer, and it's like the problem never even existed. So I love it. Really inexpensive. I do prefer this over the Benefit Erase Paste, which I do have. And the Erase Paste, if you haven't seen it or not familiar, it comes in a little tub like this. This is just way too thick, way too emollient, way too, I don't know. I just don't like that product. This is a little bit drier than the Benefit one, but it still blends in. It's still creamy. It still does its job like it's supposed to. Love that. Another concealer that I have recently picked up that I really like is the Anastasia concealer in the shade 1.25. I have had this for months. I think I bought this back in June May, June-ish time frame, and I used it once under the eyes, and it's a full coverage. It does really cover, but it's a little too thick personally for my preference under the eye. But I do love it for concealing any sort of spots. I've had to really do some major concealing here because this blemish here, particularly this one, was so freaking huge and so painful that I was gonna lose it. So I use this. I also mixed it with the Smashbox Studio Skin to do some like concealing. It's a great product. I use it a lot to clean around the eyebrows, on the brow bone. If I kind of get too much product for brows on my skin, I can go in and clean that up with this product. It's really great. It is pretty thick, but it has some nice coverage. It's got a good range, and again, I wear the shade 1.5. Did I say 1.25? No, it's 1.5. Get it together, let's see. This next product is in a category all on its own because I'm not one to use a lot of setting sprays or facial mists. I do have the all-nighter from Urban Decay that I recently picked up, and I honestly can say that's good. I've been liking it, but the one that I've used the most is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. It's silicone-free, alcohol-free, and oil-free. This is just a travel size. As you can see, I am pretty much out. I have a couple more uses out of it, but I like to use this just to kind of freshen things up. I primarily like to use this to foil eyeshadows by taking a brush, load it up with some shadows, spray the brush, and then pack it on. I've done that in so many different videos. I've talked about the whole foiling technique that you could do with any sort of shimmery or metallic eyeshadow. This is a great product. You could certainly use eye drops. I've done that before. You can use water as well, but it's good to have this because you could do that with this product. You can also spray this before. It is a primer water. I don't really see how this is like really priming the skin. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. It's a primer water, but it's something that I like for foiling eyeshadows. I do use this when I feel like my skin looks a little too powdery, but again, I've been limiting the amount of powder that I'm using on my face, so I don't really use a whole lot of this for like my face. I use it mostly for like eyeshadows. I'm gonna go in with my setting powders. I have been loving the Cinema Secrets powder. Whoa, Cinema Secrets powder. This is the Ultralucent powder. It tells you in the back it's colorless. I get mine from Sephora. It's a pretty big container, and I want to say it's like $20 or so. It's really inexpensive as opposed to other brands. You get a lot of it. At first I was like, it's okay, but honestly, I do like this. I don't really get any flashback or anything like that from photos. It's just, again, your standard translucent powder. It's very, very finely milled, so I like to use this to set my foundation. I use it under the eyes as well. But another product that I've used under the eyes that I got during the VIB sale, which I'm in love with these, is the Bésame setting powders. They came in a set of 3. I primarily love the pink one. That's what I'm wearing today. It is so incredibly brightening. It's the Vanilla Rose. And I also love the Lavender, which is a soft kind of lavender brightening type shade. It has a yellow color as well, the regular vanilla, which I have used, but not as much as these other two. It comes in a set. You probably can't get these in a set anymore, but you can get these individually. The packaging is very darling and very cute. It has that vintagey type feel to it. I love these. If I had to pick one, I would go with the pink one. I think it's the most, I think it's the one that a lot of people can use. Although I do love the lavender, I think the pink one is probably the most brightening out of the 3. I love those, and the quality is really great, and there's so much product in these little jars. It's ridiculous. Like, that'll last me ages. Okay, let's talk about some bronzer. The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Yes, it's like vacation in a compact. I love this. It's so creamy. It's so blendable. It smells like tropical. It's like, oh my god, like, this is so good. I have a little bit of a dent going on in here, a little bit of a well going, because I love this. I use this with my Real Techniques multitask brush. This is so creamy, so yummy. It's very, very light. So if you're fair like me, this is the perfect bronzer because, as I've said before in so many videos, so many tutorials and favorites, I can pile this on. I can literally take this and rub this like so on my face, and it doesn't look like I have too much. Like, there's just something so great about the formula. It has like this creamy feel to it. It's not dry and powdery like a powder product, but it is a powder. It's kind of creamy. I don't know. It's just very, I guess that's why it's called butter bronzer, because it's very buttery and it glides on the skin so beautifully. It has like a nice little mirror. It's a really good product, really great and affordable as well. Benefit Hoola. I got this mini when I did one of my very first hauls after moving here to Tennessee. This is a really great bronzer. It's really, really good. I used to have the full size years and years ago. It's a really nice bronzer. It's not too cool. It's not too warm. It's a nice kind of in the middle type color that a lot of people can use. I can use this to contour, although I like to just sort of contour and bronze at the same time because it's just easier. I like to use the e.l.f. complexion brush, which I've talked about in my favorite brush video, favorite face brush video, that I just like to slap this on. And this is the perfect color for that because, like I said, it's not too cool where it looks crazy and kind of gray on the skin if I use it all over. It's not too warm where it looks a little weird as a contour because contour products tend to be a little bit on the cooler side in general. That doesn't mean that you have to use cool tone products to contour. I mean, whoever said that needs to stop because you can do whatever you want. You can use whatever you want. I just think that this is a really solid recommendation. It's good. What can I say? It's good. All right, so for blush, let's talk about blush because, yes, I've got some really good ones. Do I even have to tell you what this is? If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you know what this is. Like, you just know. The Lora Buildable Blush. Oh, love this in the shade Tinge. It is a matte color. The formula is wonderful. I am going to go buy some more of these because these are just very pigmented, but they blend so beautifully on the skin. It looks like skin. This gives me such a beautiful flush to the skin. So if you're fair like me or lighter, this is where it's at. Like, Tinge is where it's at. You need this in your life. It's buildable. Truly is. You can layer this up and make it more intense. I love the gunmetal packaging with the clear window so you can see what the product is. And I just love these. Lorac in general is a really good brand, and I have been impressed with a lot of their products, especially their eyeshadows and some of their lip products, which will be coming up soon. I love this. This is my favorite blush, my favorite color. Yes. The next one, I don't know if it's available anymore, but I'm going to show it to you anyways because I do really love this, and for like a solid 2 months, this is what I use. I didn't use anything else but this color, and this is from the Mecca brand. This is the Champagne Splits like collection that they came out with Jaclyn Hill, and this is the Champagne Pop and Procesco Pop. No, Prosecco Pop and Amaretto. This blush is what I'm wearing today. I love this. I do have a little bit of this. I did go a little crazy with my blush and my highlight today, but I did use a dual fiber brush for my blush today, and it really does make a difference if you go a little too crazy like this girl. This is such a good blush color. It's a very everyday type color. It goes with everything. I could wear this with the most bold, in-your-face, smoky eye, glitter eyeshadow, or absolutely nothing on the eyes, just completely naked eyeballs, and this works great. Like, it's just everything that I want in a blush. It's kind of like, it looks like nothing in the pan. It doesn't look that pretty, as opposed to something that's pink and just better in color, but this is where it's at. I love the formula of this blush. I think this is one of the only blush colors that Becca has that's more of a satin finish, because a lot of the Becca blushes themselves are very shimmery, and I personally don't like shimmer in this blush area because I have larger pores. That sort of accentuates, that finish accentuates those pores, and if you have oily skin, I don't really think that dewy blushes or shimmery blushes are the best option. But I do like this formula. It's a nice satiny color. I think it works great with a lot of different looks. More blush. I love blush. So Makeup Revolution, the Ultra Blush Palette is wonderful. This is in the Sugar and Spice. You have a great range of colors. You have some neutrally type shades. They go with everything. These two right here, this is for me where it's at. Like, I love this. You have some peach, some bright pinks, a nice pretty berry. This berry color here, even though it looks a little deep in the pan, when you put it on, it makes your skin look like that natural kind of wintry flush that you see. It's just beautiful. You have some highlight colors here. These are very, very intense. If you're not into intense highlight, these are not for you, these two colors here, but you will be seen in outer space with these. No joke. If you like that type of highlight, this is where it's at. I love this. Very inexpensive. The quality is phenomenal from Makeup Revolution. I have not been disappointed with any of their things, honestly. I've talked about them so many times. It's one of my favorite brands, one of my favorite sort of finds. I think that was in 2015. That was a discovered brand that year, and it was good. It's good. The next one is from Smashbox, and it's their limited edition LA Lights palette. This is the contour, blush, and highlight. You have everything you need. And honestly, this is very, very similar in tone to the Ultra Blush palette from Makeup Revolution, the Sugar and Spice. You've got some similar kind of peachy tones, some berries. You have a bronzer, this rich bronze. I use it all the time. True Flush, that is my kind of color. And then you have some highlight shades. I do like the gold. These other ones I don't use too often because they do have some pigment to them, but in general, I think this is a great little palette to have if you like blush, if you want to expand your blush collection, or if you are new to experiencing different tones of blushes. Something like this I think is very worth the money because you have everything you need. Apart from this, I don't really think that you need much of anything else. I mean, if you can make that bronzer work for your skin tone, you have a bronzer. You have tons of different blushes. The only thing is the highlights. I would say if it's not your thing, you can kind of bring in other highlights into your collection, but this really is pretty good. I mean, you have everything in this little compact, and it's just nice. It's nice and sleek. Nice job from Smashbox. Okay, so highlight. I gotta reposition myself here because you guys know I love highlight, and I used to never wear highlight. There were so many years from the beginning of my YouTube days up until the last few years I did not highlight. But when I did the highlighting thing, it was like magic. And I fell in love with highlighting, and I figured out how to do highlighting for oily skin and knowing where to put the highlights and the shimmer and where not to put it. And I think that when you figure that out, what works for you, regardless of what people say are the makeup rules, whatever form of highlighting you like, whether it's disco ball all over your face, you do you. And if you don't like natural, go for it. I love highlighting, and I cannot picture myself not doing it anymore. Like once you do it and you see what a glow and how it makes your skin just look so healthy and revived, it's like you'll never go back to not wearing it. These highlights, these are the NYX Bright Idea Illuminating Sticks. I have only 2 of them. These are the 2 that I thought from the whole range were amazing. I got these when they first came out. I have a video all about these. Lavender Lust is beautiful. It's got a really beautiful kind of brightness to it, and even though it's a lavender shade, and you probably think, okay, really? It has a brightness to it. It doesn't look purple on the skin. It just makes the skin look very bright, and it just adds this beautiful kind of glow and this beautiful sort of tone to the skin. I love it on the tops of the cheekbone. They blend out very well. I think that these feel very high quality. Like the formula, the colors, the way they go on, the way they blend. This one here, the champagne one, is beautiful. I think a lot of people can use this. In fact, every skin tone can use this. This is called Chardonnay Shimmer. This is a beautiful, really nice kind of classic champagne color that's not too gold. It's not too pink. It's not too warm. It's just, it's right there. It's in the middle. It works. It's beautiful. It's great. Another highlighting palette that I love and I would recommend to anyone is the Tarte Skin Twinkle palette. I love this. I've had this for so long, and this palette is the actual pans are huge. Like this will last me the rest of my life. This one in the center isn't quite as pigmented. There's not much to it, but these 2, oh yes. I love these. Those are the 2 colors. One is more kind of like a gold. One is more of a classic kind of champagne type color. And I will swatch them here. They can be very intense on the skin, as you can see. Hopefully you can tell there. They can be very intense on the skin, but when you sort of blend them out, it just makes your skin look very healthy. Like, look at that. So, so pretty. It gives you a really beautiful glow. I like to use these with my damp beauty sponge. I like to use them with a brush. The Morphe M501 is one of my favorite brushes. I can definitely pack this on so that I can be seen in outer space, and I can definitely tone this down. I mean, it gives you a really great range of, I guess, versatility, I should say, with the way you can layer it and how much you put on and how much shows up on the skin. And the same thing can be said for the Anastasia Glow Kit. I only have one of these. They have so many different kinds, so depending on your skin tone, you can find a glow kit that works for you. I think that the price and the amount of product that you get is pretty phenomenal. I mean, I think this was $40. This is in the shade, or shades, in the Gleam kit. I love these 2 bottom ones, Starburst and Crush Pearl. I have Crush Pearl over Prosecco Pop today. Love it. These 2 up top, I don't really use that much, but overall, the quality is really great. And also another good thing is the consistency with this palette. I mean, every single color from the top to the bottom is consistent. The formula, the application, the glow that it gives the skin, it's just beautiful. And I honestly think you can't go wrong with this. Like if you want a solid highlighting set that you can always go to, a palette that you can go to with different variations, you can find a highlighting palette in this line that you like, or you can get this one that I personally like because I'm pretty light. These two colors here are everything to me, but these other two are also very, very pretty, very glowy. One, like this bronze one called Mimosa, that one would be really pretty for the summertime. If you have like a nice little glow or a nice little tan going on, you can wear that if you're fair like me. If you're darker than me naturally, without any sun, you will get a lot of use out of that. And then the other one is more of a pinky color that has a subtle kind of duochromy goodness to it, so it's really, really nice. Now, my very last product that I want to include in this portion of the video, I think I'm going to do my lip products in a separate video. I think I will film that probably tomorrow and post that on Friday for you guys, and maybe do a tutorial using these products. If you're wanting to see something like that, I do have most of this stuff on, as much as I could put on without looking like a freaking clown. But the last thing I want to show you is this Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Palette. Now, you guys know I'm not a big fan of contouring, and I should have shown this earlier when I was talking about contouring and bronzer, but I kind of got it mixed in with my eyeshadow palettes. I don't do contouring a lot. I, in fact, use bronzer, like I said before, and use bronze and contour all in one. But when I do feel a little sassy or feel like I want to do a little something extra, I do often reach for this. Out of all of my contouring products, which I do have cream contours, I have contouring palettes, contouring powders, but I don't really reach for them that often. And if I do decide to go the contouring route for my makeup routine that day, if I'm feeling a little extra, a little dramatic, a little bit over the top, I will go with this contour right here from the Pro Sculpting Palette, and this is in the shade 20. There is a few shades in this. This blush is actually really pretty. You can use this blush with a damp beauty sponge. I use the Beauty Blender, the blusher, to use this onto the apples of my cheek. It's a really great formula, but this contour right here works really well for my skin tone because I'm so light. When you apply it and you blend this out, it's not as cool as it looks. Like, it looks much cooler in the pan than it does when it goes on the skin. But it's a really nice contour shade for someone of my skin tone or lighter. So if you're tan, I think that they have a shade, I don't know if it's 10, 20, and 30, like the number system, but the next palette up is probably going to be a better option if you're darker than me. But this color here in particular, I think is really nice. This is a very soft and very light highlight. It gives a very natural glow. Like, you could use this pretty much everywhere. You can blend it into the inner corner, which I do. Cupid's bow, I mean, I can put a little bit of this on over the rest of my highlight, and it just adds a little extra something without being over the top. And it's a nice sort of creamy formula that goes almost from a cream to a powder, which is why I like this. And there's also a very light color, which I use to highlight. I mean, it is white. There it is. Like, it is very, very intense. As you can see the contrast between that and my skin tone. It is a very highlighty type product. I can do that on tops of my cheekbone and then go in with something else like this or a powder, and it gives a nice finish, and it doesn't feel tacky. That's the biggest thing with this. The formula is wonderful. It's like a cream to powder. I don't use cream products because they always leave that dewy, sort of glowy, wet look on the skin, and sometimes some cream products actually have a tacky feel that never goes away, which I hate. But this honestly is worth the money if you like cream products, or if you're like me and you occasionally like to have something to reach for that's in a cream form. This is definitely worth the price that it is for it at Sephora, which is where I get my Makeup Forever products. That is it. That completes this portion of this favorites Best in Beauty video. These are all of my favorite products for the face, for bronzing, for contouring, for blush. This is just all of my favorite things. Like, and there's nothing in this video that I would not feel comfortable recommending to you. I hope that if you try it, you enjoy them. I do have a part 1 that I posted last Friday, so I will link it here if you haven't seen that. Stay tuned for next Friday, or this coming Friday, which will be my favorite lip products. I do have quite a few, and I have some beautiful gems to show you in that video as well. Everything in this video is listed down below, so you can screenshot it if you're interested in having the list of everything that I showed. So when you go and makeup shop, and you have yourself a list there as well. If not, it's listed for reference if you ever want to come back to this video and see some of my favorite products. I do have a lot of these products on, like I said before, so you can kind of see how it looks on camera. Wonderful quality products. I'm very pleased with them, and I hope that you will like them as much as I do. Thank you so much for spending some of your day. I know this video was very long. We talked about a lot of products, and these are just my favorites, and I hope they become your favorites. Thank you so much for being here, for watching, for subscribing, for commenting. You guys are absolutely incredible. I could not do this without you. Thank you so much for being you, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.